Well, welcome back to my channel. And today I want to hit you with a barrage of garage rock bands, all from the United States in the 60s. And when I was a little kid, you know, a lot of these bands, a lot of these albums I'm going to show you, their hits were all over the AM radio. We moved, as a really little kid, we moved to Southern California, to Costa Mesa, Newport Beach. And how can I forget, you know, certain songs blaring over the transistor radios down at the beach, Big Corona, Little Corona, The Wedge, that sort of thing. I'm going to get started, and I'm going to start with the Pacific Northwest. Now, here's a band that, I mean, they were formed way back in 1958, and you could say, they're out of Tacoma, Washington. You could say that they're accredited to be one of the very first, if not the first, American garage rock band ever, guys. And that's the fabulous Wailers. And this is here on Golden Crest. This is a cool record, and I found this for all of $2 in a warehouse. And this is on that really cool Golden Crest label. And I love having this album because, you know, this band was one of the many. Of course, there's so many great Australian bands, UK, Netherlands, so many great garage rock bands around the world, and in later decades, 80s, 90s, and the revision, the revivalist garage rock bands as well. But fabulous Wailers. You got Tall Cool One, Driftwood, Dirty Robber, Shanghai, Waylon, Roadrunners on here. Nice album to have. And next up, this is on a repress on Beat Rocket. And this little band, also out of Tacoma, Washington, formed in 1960. And, you know, they influenced bands like the Stooges, the Cramps. Later on, the White Stripes took a lot from this band. I think you know where I'm going with it. Even the Hives, even Nirvana. And guys, this is the Sonics, and this is introducing. And this does have Psycho on it. This is good. This has The Witch on it. Here, let me show you the tracks. I finally got a nice copy of this on the repress, and it sounds very, very good. And let's see here. And this is simply, you can get this repress for, oh, I don't know how much it was. I don't care. I'm just glad to have some Sonics, and I would love to have an OG of the Sonics. That would be just fantastic. And then I'll never forget when I scored this record thrifting. And it's not that it's that rare, but it's just, this is just near mint. And the jacket is so clean. And I'm such a big fan, you know, one of the biggest songs ever. And that's, of course, The Kingsmen on Wand. And this is Louie. And, you know, they're from 1962 out of Portland, Oregon. And, you know, Richard Berry wrote Louie, and he did that way back in 1957, but it was more R&B soul style. And of course, the Flamin' Groovies, you know, to me, do an equally as good Louie as the Kingsmen. And this is on that great Wand label. Let me show you here in a second. Oh, and the Wand inner sleeve, so nice. And on the Wand, and I have other Kingsmen on originals, about 4 total. So I just love the roughness of Louie on this particular album. It's just fantastic. And then very recently, I got this album on the repress. I think, oh, it is from Sundazed, and these guys are out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, formed in 1962. And, you know, they must have heard, like, Dick Dale, Let's Go Trippin'. They must have, because they're garage, they're surf guys, and this is the best of the Trashmen. And this thing sounds really, really good on the Sundazed. And Surfin' Bird, you know, I always think back to Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket. And that great scene, you know, of course you could see it on YouTube, the video with Surfin' Bird and Papa Ooh Mau Mau. So here's the tracks for the best of the Trashmen. And they were just really, really terrific. They really were. I mean, some say they don't like the vocalist. I think the vocals are just great. I mean, it's the genre, really. And now we're going to go down to Los Angeles here. And out of the San Fernando Valley, this band was formed in 1964. And they do a great rendition of Hey Joe. I think one of the first, actually. And what else can I say? You know, I mean, they were inspired by the Beatles. And guys, that's the Leaves. And this is the Hey Joe album. You know, I paid all of $3 for this. There's ringware here, but the wax is like near mint. It's just so nice and it sounds so good. And this is the stereo. It does sound good though. You know, a lot of the older stereos like fake stereo, but this stereo sounds good. I mean, would I like to have it on the mono if there's a mono? Sure. And this is on Mira Records, and I acquired this one just less than a year ago, so that's great to have. And then I remember I always thought this band was from Boston, you know, because of Dirty Water. And no, they're a Los Angeles band. And the Standells, so good. This is a nice album. You know, 19th Nervous Breakdown is a really good cover from the Stones. And let me show you the wax here. And anything on the old Tower records is really cool. Love having this one. One thing I wanted to mention, one band, I have them on CD, is Zachary Thax. And they have an album, you know, they only release singles, and I think they had about 6 just killer singles. And there's an album called Form the Habit. Let me show you right here. Form the Habit. It's so good. If you don't know Zachary Thax, you have to stream it, listen to it, get the CD. The vinyl, it's a little hard to find right now, and if you have it, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. They're one of my all-time favorite US 60s garage rock bands. And then next up, out of Boston, formed in 1964. This band is just amazing, and it's really timeless. This music sounds great today. And these guys all met when they were attending Boston University. And here, I'll show you in just a second. I've been listening to The Remains a lot lately. In the past couple of months, I just listened to both sides streaming. This album I spun last week on the A and the B side. And this one, I got this for 75 cents in a record haul from, about 5 years ago. Half the records were trashed, and about a third were just amazing. So here's the back cover for The Remains. And this is on Epic. I'll show you here in a second. And for The Remains, such a great band. Great songwriting, great musicianship. And another LA band, this little band, you know, formed in 1965. You have Saxon here. And he had come out of Salt Lake City down to LA. And man, it's just so fantastic. I did have to get this on the repress. I mean, an original. I went to a record show last weekend, and I think the guy wanted, I don't know, $60, $80 for the original of the Seeds. Pushing Too Hard. Excellent album, and this sounds just superb. It really does. Yeah, garage rock is just one of my favorite genres. It just is. And this is on the repress of the GMP Crescendo. There we go. And then this album was part of that haul where the records broke down to 75 cents a piece. This is an original, and this is a little band that the singer went to go see the Byrds in LA and was so enthralled and enthusiastic about listening to the Byrds. And that was Arthur Lee, and he wanted to start his band, you know, but more of a folk psych kind of thing. And here it is. This is on the original, on Elektra, and I was just so fortunate to have this in that haul of a couple of hundred records. And again, a third of them were in really fine shape. The Remains that I showed you was one of them. And check this out. And here it is on the Elektra label. And then while I was down in San Francisco, and I filmed Tunnel Records in the Sunset District, and I did buy this very, very fine record there. And this is also an LA band, San Fernando Valley to be exact. And this is from 1967. It has I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night. And this is on the repress, and it just sounds terrific. It really does. This is the Electric Prunes. Excellent, excellent record and band. And I have 2 other Prunes records that I just thoroughly enjoy. And what's really cool, this is on the repress of Reprise Records, the Showboat Reprise. And this plays dead quiet. I do recommend the repress if you see it. And yet another LA band, and this is my most recent purchase actually, and I had to have this. This is, guys, this is the Music Machine, and they're just so underappreciated, underrated. This is a craft repress from the analog tapes, and CC Riders here, their single of Talk Talk, I believe it was their first. If you don't know the Music Machine, you got to check this out. This is just really superb. It really is. And you're going to have to pay about $30 or so for this repress, unless maybe you get it used. But here it is on that black wax. And I highly recommend the Music Machine. And I can't do a 60s garage rock showdown without showing some 45s, right? And here, first off, I have the Kingsman on wand with Money. Very, very nice to have. And then here we go on a promo for Question Mark and the Mysterians, I Love You Baby. And on the flip is Make You Mine. And just a great, great track on Louie, I See the Light by the Music Explosion. If you don't know this single, you got to check it out, really. And on the B side is a little bit of soul, but I See the Light is really the ticket on this particular 7-inch. And last one, out of San Francisco, California, all the way back to 1964 and 5, are the Beau Brummels with Just a Little. And on the flip is Laugh Laugh. And then here's a band from Los Altos, California, near Mountain View, near Palo Alto, down the peninsula, as we say, in the San Francisco Bay Area. And these guys are just so interesting and ahead of their time. And this is the Inner Mystique Chocolate Watch Band. Now, I'd love to get the debut. This is a Sundance reissue. The B-side has the original band members on it, and it's much more garagey than the A-side, but the A-side is very, very interesting. This is just a terrific record. If you haven't spun the entire Chocolate Watch Band, you really should do it. It's just exceptional. And then not far away from Palo Alto and Los Altos, California, down south just a bit in San Jose, we've got the Count 5. And these guys used to dress in Dracula capes, and they formed in 1964. And this is just too cool. I mean, well, this record is from 1966. And you've got Double Decker Bus, Pretty Big Mouth, The World, My Generation, they do a cover. Psychotic Reaction is the last cut on the A-side. And man, this is just a great album. And this is on the Craft repress, which I will show you here in a moment. And this was about $25. And I did buy this at Tunnel Records in San Francisco. And this is, Craft does a really, really nice job. I'm very happy to have this. Now, if I went like this band would be from, I'd say, right about there. Flint, Michigan, right? 1965. And this is the debut. And they do a great cover of Lady Jane on this one. And this is Terry Knight and the Pack. And of course, Mark Farner and Don Brewer are on this. And Terry Knight, I like his singing. I really do. The second Terry Knight and the Pack album is good, but this is the one to get. This is on Lucky 11. And I'll show you this in just a moment. This is just a good record. And there we go on the Lucky 11. And next up, here's the one band that I actually saw them rehearse in 1975, in the summer of 75. I was down in the San Fernando Valley with my good friend Chris Feeney, and he brought me to a rehearsal, and his friends from high school that were in a very Hendrixy type power trio, these guys were incredible. And they were the backing band for this guy right here, Rudy Martinez, and we know who that is. That's Question Mark and the Mysterians. And I got to see them rehearse 96 Tears. And they went over it for a couple hours because Rudy wanted them to get it right. And Rudy never took off his glasses, by the way. Never, ever. But it was just great being at that rehearsal. And they were getting ready to go out and do shows in the LA area. And this is just a great album. So good. And this is you can get this for just about $20. And 96 Tears, man. It's just incredible. And I love how they did the inner sleeve, the Cameo Parkway inner. Very nice. Now here's a band from just north of my state here in Nevada, up in Idaho. And these guys are from Boise, Idaho. And this is Midnight Ride. This is featuring Kix. And this is Paul Revere and the Raiders. They do a great cover of Louie, Louie on here that's just really, really good. Terry Melcher is the producer here, by the way, for Paul Revere and the Raiders. I have other records by them, but I wanted to show this one because this tends to be a bit more garagey than some of their other records. And I'll show you on the Columbia label. And this is on the 2i, on the mono. And all the way from Cleveland, Ohio, formed in 1966. This is their debut from, well, they formed in 1965, and this is their debut from 66. And this is The Outsiders, Time Won't Let Me. This is a good album, really good. Poppy, garagey, excellent. Good songwriting. Love this record. And on the Rainbow Capital, and yeah, I acquired this one for $2. And yes, it has whatever the guy's name is there on the rainbow border, but that's okay because it sounds great. And ever since I bought this a little over a year ago, I've spun it at least a few times. Now, all the way down in West Palm Beach, I went to a record store, Rust and Wax, and this was in the $5 bin, and this is just too cool. They're from Memphis, Tennessee. This is from 1966 on their debut, and this single, it's one of my favorite garage singles of all time, and that's Let It All Hang Out, the Hombres. Great record. And if you don't remember Let It All Hang Out, spin it, stream it, whatever. It's a good one. And it's very simply on the Verve label. And then, as I was saying, listening to the AM radio in the 60s as a really little kid, 9 years old, 10, 11, I just loved this band. I loved them so much. And Wooly Bully was the track I loved. But this is Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. And this is Domingo Zamudio, and they formed out of Dallas, Texas. And so we're going to do some Texas bands here. And Texas just produced some great, great garage bands. This is from 1966. And Little Red Riding Hood, equally, well, as a kid, I just love that track. But Wooly Bully, I mean, takes the cake for me. And there's a lot of good ones on this. And Hanky Panky is on here. And this should be on the MGM. Let's have a look. Very nice MGM label. And another little Texas band out of San Antonio, Texas. And for She's About a Mover Alone, I have to include Sir Douglas Quintet. And this is a best of on Tacoma. I love this particular Sir Douglas Quintet. I have about 5 or 6 records by the band. Mendocino's so cool. And they're just so much more than a garage rock band. I mean, Tex-Mex, folk, country, garage. Absolutely. She's About a Mover. One of the best garage rock songs, in my humble opinion, of all time for 60s US bands. And again, there's so many great garage rock bands from Australia, from the UK, Netherlands, all around the world. And you're probably wondering, where are they? What am I doing here? And here they are. Now, this is a RSD Black Friday exclusive. This is Bull of the Woods, 13th Floor Elevators. And this does sound good. This sounds pretty darn good. Now, you know, if you can get the originals or if you have them, I envy you. I really do. And then this should be on Charlie. Let's see, is it on Charlie? This is Easter Everywhere. And Stacy Sutherland and Rocky Erickson are just so incredible. I mean, you know, this is at the top of the mountain for garage rock, US anyway, for sure. And then I'm going to have to show you on the CD, because one day I will have an original. And here's the psychedelic sounds of the 13th Floor Elevators on Charlie. And this sounds pretty good, but nothing is going to sound, and I've heard it. I've heard the original pressing on the mono of the original of this before. It's been about 3-4 years, and it really does sound amazing. A friend of mine found it for pretty darn cheap, and it was like a VG to VG Plus, and it still played great. So thanks so much for having a look, and I'll see you on the very next video.